Mercy. Who wants mercy in their life? You all want mercy, huh? This is good. I've got two verses for you on how you're going to receive mercy. Um, so first, let's go to Bhagavad Gita. Who wants mercy in their life? No, but I do want mercy. Um, you know what? My Craig senses are tingling. Where is Craig today?
He's sick.
Oh no. Hopefully he's watching online. So anyhow, I'm longing to see Craig, but that's okay. This is about how to receive. Now remember, you guys all want to receive mercy. Who wanted mercy again? Who's looking for mercy? Tej, you want mercy back there? Yes, he wants mercy too. Everyone wants mercy. And Meghna, she wants mercy as well. I actually want to start by glorifying some acts of mercy upon me. Yesterday, my wife and I, we had a baby shower. So Karen knows, and Shivadas knows. Shivadas, you're European, so maybe it's not as prominent in Europe. And Peter, you might know. But and Mukunda, and Ben. But in the West, baby showers are kind of big deals. But we were just kind of like a little nervous about this baby shower. Because oh man, we're going to have to talk about so many things we don't want to, and be around so many things we don't want to. So we decided, okay, let's have a Krishna fire yagya as part of the ceremony. And nothing went as planned. As usual, nothing went as planned. But I actually was really, it went really well, and a lot of people were able to appreciate the spiritual tradition that we have. Even though it was not nearly on the scale that I was imagining. I was imagining so many wonderful things. People were going to be rolling in ecstasy and dropping tears, and I would be doing. But it didn't work. It didn't work out like that. But anyhow.
You're not even rolling in tears.
No, but actually, what did shock me up actually was that many of our family members were appreciating the good qualities of the devotees who came and were of so much service. And Michael and Meghna and Piyush and Brijesh is not here, and Tanmay. Did I miss anyone? And Parth, you did the seva back here because they wouldn't have been able to go without you. So it was really, really incredible to hear how much they appreciated the devotees. So you guys are like the mercy upon me. So thank you so much. I've been trying to somehow exhibit good qualities to them for many years, and I've failed on my own. But through you guys, they were able to appreciate devotees. So thank you so much. And it was good. It was very good. I was so happy. Many people ate prasad. All the ladies, they came and blessed us. It was part of the ceremony. All the women with children came and blessed my wife and I and the upcoming baby. With kusha grass and holy water from the yagya, they ate prasad. It was so nice. So and they heard Hare Krishna. That was the number one thing. The boys were chanting, so nice, and even Meghna was playing the harmonium in the background. It was just very good. So thank you. You guys are my mercy, and I mean that so much. Now, but here's how you get mercy. And right, we all want mercy. Who didn't want it? I saw a few hands were down. Mukunda doesn't want mercy. He's too good for mercy.
I want it. I just don't deserve it.
Okay, that's okay. Everyone is eligible. Don't worry. So go to 434 and you're going to figure out exactly how to get mercy. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. All right, cool. Very good. We're gonna break this down. Ready? 434. You're reading it. Everyone have it in front of you. We're gonna try the Sanskrit. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnaninas tattvadarshina. Adya, please. Tadvidhi pranipatena Pariprashnena sevaya.
Upadekshanti te jnanam.
Upadekshanti te jnanam.
Jnaninas
Jnaninas. Let's see. Tanma, you want to give it a go?
Tadvidi pranipatena.
Tadvidi pranipatena.
Pariparshena sevaya.
Pariprashnena sevaya.
Upadekshanti te jnanam.
Upadekshanti te jnanam.
Jnaninas tattvadarshina.
Jnaninas tattvadarshina. Tat. That knowledge of different sacrifices. Tat means that, but it's in context here to the knowledge of different sacrifices that Krishna is talking about in this chapter. Vidhi. Try to understand. Pranipatena. By approaching a spiritual master. Another, also it can mean offering one's respectful obeisances. Really, but that's the way you approach a spiritual master, by offering so much respect. Pariprashnena. By submissive inquiries. Sevaya. By the rendering of service. Upadekshanti. Initiate. Te. Unto you. Jnanam. Knowledge. Jnanina. The self-realized. Tattva. Truth. Darshina. The seers. Translation. Just try to learn the truth by approaching a spiritual master. Inquire from him submissively and render service unto him. The self-realized soul can impart knowledge unto you because he has seen the truth. Tattva Darshana. Prabhupada saying, the path of spiritual realization is undoubtedly difficult. The Lord therefore advises us to approach a bona fide spiritual master in the line of disciplic succession from the Lord himself. No one could be a bona fide spiritual master without following this principle of disciplic succession. The Lord is the original spiritual master, and a person in the disciplic succession can convey the message of the Lord as it is to his disciple. No one can be spiritually realized by manufacturing his own process, as is the fashion of the foolish pretenders. The Bhagavatam says, Dharmam hi sakshad Bhagavad pranitam. The path of religion is directly enunciated by the Lord. Therefore, mental speculation or dry arguments cannot help one progress in spiritual life. One has to approach a bona fide spiritual master to receive the knowledge. Such a spiritual master should be accepted in full surrender, and one should serve the spiritual master like a menial servant without false prestige. Satisfaction of the self-realized spiritual master is the secret of advancement in spiritual life. Inquiries and submission constitute the proper combination for spiritual understanding. Unless there is submission and service, inquiries from the learned spiritual master will not be effective. One must be able to pass the test of the spiritual master, and when he sees the genuine desire of the disciple, he automatically blesses the disciple with genuine spiritual understanding. In this verse, both blind following and absurd inquiries are condemned. One should not only hear submissively from the spiritual master, but one must also get a clear understanding from him in submission and service and inquiries. A bona fide spiritual master is by nature very kind toward the disciple. Therefore, when the student is submissive and always ready to render service, the reciprocation of knowledge and inquiries becomes perfect. Om Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. What's that mean? Who knows?
I was born in the deep darkest of ignorance.
Yes.
My spiritual master opened my eyes.
With the torchlight of knowledge. Narottam Das Thakur, he sings this. I believe it's in Prema Bhakta Chandrika. It's actually interesting. If you translate out the Bengali, it's really nice. Om Ajnana, Om is the primordial sound. Ajnana is ignorance. Timirandasya means I've been covered in darkness. Jnananjana Shalakaya. But with the ointment, Anjana, it's like an ointment of knowledge, and then Shalakaya, there's like a scalpel. If you have a cataract in your eyes, you're blind. So one who's been blinded by, Timirandasya means blinded by darkness. He takes the scalpel and he will remove the darkness of ignorance from your eyes. That's what that means. That's what Narottam Das Thakur was singing. It is very nice though, very poetic. Our Vaishnavacharyas, like Srila Prabhupada, has translated out as you've opened my eyes by the torchlight of knowledge. So anyway, that's actually what we're talking about today. This is how we need to get mercy. And in this verse, it talks about tattva darshana. You need to find someone who has seen the truth. Now we've talked about different types of gurus. Now Prabhupada, you have to understand, Prabhupada was in a very, very urgent situation in the West when he came and preached. He was trying to start a worldwide movement and he had very limited time. He was an old man physically. He's an incredible spiritual personality. And then also on top of this, it was very difficult for the hippies to follow any rules and things like that. So he had to make it very clear what you have to do. So just to look at what all the words mean. And it helps if you actually know what all the words mean. You could look at just the English translation and that's very, very potent. But it's nice to understand what all the words mean. Tad is that. Vidhi is understanding. Pranipatena, it's like offering was respectful obeisances. So this is the first thing that one has to do. You have to be ready to offer your respects unto such a person. If you want mercy from somebody, you have to offer full respect from them. If you don't, they can. It's like the rule. They're not so as inclined. They're oh, he's my friend. We'll have friendly talks, no problem. But actually, in order to get mercy, what does Lord Chaitanya say? What is the most important thing for a Vaishnava? Yes, humility. So that means ready to offer full respects. I was hearing the glories of Peter, of how ready he was to offer full respects to all the boys when, if he felt that he made an offense. And that's a very good quality of Peter. You're ready to get mercy like that. So that's actually, that's very important. That's very important. So ready to offer all respects. Pariprashnena, what is that?
Ask questions.
Yes, to ask relevant questions. This also is a symptom of humility. If you don't have any questions, you're not very humble. You know, well, first the person has to be qualified. They should be tattva darshana. They should be a seer of the truth. Unless the person is a full seer of the truth, it's not really worth, taking all that, surrendering before that person and wanting to, you don't have to be false, but at least bowing before them, offering all kinds of respects, and then asking them questions. So if you have no questions to ask, you're in trouble. No mercy can come this way. This is the three activities of mercy. Pranipatena, offering respect to the qualified person, the tattva-darshana, who has jnaninas, the knowledge. Pariprashnena, asking relevant questions. Asking questions. How can you have mercy? Please, this is my doubt in my life where I'm not feeling mercy coming. How can I get the mercy that I'm looking for? And then last, sevaya. What's that? Service. You guys are all very into service here. The sevaks. And I've seen in your life, even yesterday, you were so nice. You guys were serving you could say a Vartma Pradarshika guru of mine yesterday. All the boys, the priest who led the ceremony, Vartma is path. And Pradarshika, I don't know. But he was the one he was one of the priests at the temple I first served at. And it was nice to be able to connect with him and have him lead the ceremony at the baby shower yesterday. But my request of the boys is just serve him. What does he need? Make sure he has everything he needs. And he left so happy yesterday. And I was so... and so he wants to give you... Naturally, I saw that he wanted to... He was so affectionate to you guys. You were with Maya Porchandra. He was affectionate to you guys. This is... when you do this with devotees who are senior, who have some level of tattva darshana, this is how you get mercy. So what are the three things? What is the first? What word is that? Pranipatena. Okay, what's the second? And what's that mean? Asking questions. Good. And then what's the third? Sevaya. How can I be of service? Even, I'll give you an example. This was a very nice conversation. Me and my wife we went to India to be students. Because we weren't fulfilling this verse, you know. And I'll tell you what happened when we met a very, very nice, he was a young Swami, sannyasi, Bhakti Swarup Sridhar Maharaj. And we had heard that, he was in the area, that if we could make some time to ask him some questions, we should. And actually, we got way more than we bargained for. He ended up chanting all kinds of sacred mantras to our baby. So we ended up having a really good thing. But anyhow, I was asking him questions. I was realizing the urge. I went to India for this whole purpose. I was realizing my fault, that I'm acting as a leader here. But as a leader, if I'm not doing these things, how will any of you know to do these things? So if I'm just here and I'm the so-called one giving the class and all these things, then I'm only able to give you whatever little bit I have. But if I don't take this process and go deeper myself, I can't give you anything. So I realized this for India, but this has been irking me for some time. So we wanted to hear from as many sadhus, or you could say tattvadarshana people as possible, seers of the truth. So I asked him, what do I do? I'm in Syracuse. I'm all by, we're not by ourselves. We have all of you. We have such a nice group here. But, we're a new thing. We don't have, clear spiritual leadership. Somehow I have to do this job. I'm paraphrasing what I said. But he said that essentially this is the problem, and this is how we shut ourselves off from mercy. And he made me realize the fault of what I've been doing. And he said, for a devotee, the way to make advancement is to always associate with those more advanced than you are. So how do you make advancement? Yes, associating with those more advanced than you are. If you're the smartest one in the room, yes, this is a business thing, right? They say this in the material world even, but they know this. If you're the smartest one in your room, you have to find a new room. Because unless you're completely liberated from all miseries in this world, and then you're experiencing ever-increasing levels of bliss, which even those people who are do that, even they're attracted. Rishabh, come on in, very nice to see you. So if you don't find a tattva darshana, if you don't find a seer of the truth, darshan is right, to see, or even be seen, and tattva is truth. If you don't find a seer of the truth, at least someone who sees more truth than you. Now Prabhupada is giving you the full truth, approaching a spiritual master. That's the best thing. If you can find somebody that you're 100% confident, and it's not just like, well, I heard him, he gave a great class, and I'm ready to surrender 100%, or I spent a weekend with him. Actually, the duty of a disciple is actually to spend a full year with a spiritual master. Believe it or not. A whole year is actually. Now, I didn't even do that. And, you should do that. You should, there's a relationship on how to work that out. But you should really, 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 by this process, you're ready to offer respect to this person. If you think this is a person who's more advanced than you, offer them respect. That's the best thing to do. Then, pariprashnena, ask them questions. We're so interested in monologues in life. We're so interested, we just want to vent what we have. But if you really want mercy and someone has some mercy that they can give you, you should ask. You should ask. So if we're not doing this, no shot. Even if we're very respectful, but then we can't find the muster, the courage to ask questions, we're shutting ourselves off from the mercy. That's how the mercy. This Bhagavad Gita, why didn't Krishna just start speaking the Bhagavad Gita? Why does it have a whole first chapter and then, Arjuna has,
You have to understand the context of the battlefield. You have to know what's
Well,
actually
you can.
going on.
That's one thing, but Arjuna, he had to go through the process of this. Pranipatena. He had to surrender to Krishna. Now I am a soul surrendered unto you. Please instruct me. And then he started asking him pariprashnena. He started asking him all kinds of questions. And then Bhagavad Gita was spoken to him. So unless we do this, we're finished. If you want mercy, this is how you get mercy. And then Sevaya. Then Krishna instructed him to fight, and his service was to treat Krishna as a servant and kick him and have him do all kinds of things. That's how you would control your chariot driver. He would kick him on the right if he wants him to go right, or kick him on the left. But Arjuna's service to Krishna was to fight. That's what Krishna wanted him to do. And so he started rendering the service he wanted. And then Krishna completely enlightened him and completely gave him full mercy. Now we don't have Krishna next to us like Arjuna. Arjuna is a lot more fortunate than we are. We all have Krishna. That's why we chant the holy name, because this is Krishna. We're associating with Krishna. We just don't realize it. We don't have the great consciousness. But we're starting the process. We're doing something. But anyhow, these three things. Be ready to offer respects. Ask relevant questions. And then render service. Many of you are so good at the service, especially Sevaya. So many people are doing Sevaya. So many Seva. So many people are so good at offering respects. I got here today and one of the boys, I won't mention, two of them actually, put his head on my feet. What an offense they've made. Because I'm not qualified to give you anything, and I have to do probably hundreds of years of austerities to somehow, I should have never let you do. But anyhow, it's actually, for them, that's the right mood. For me, I'm an idiot for allowing. But for them, that's the proper mood. That's a full level of respect. And then, now maybe what's missing is pariprashnena. Who are you asking relevant questions to? And what this Swami, he told me, he said, he was telling me how important it is to be humble, right? Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, you guys all know what's Thursday? What is Thursday? It's Gaura Purnima. For the Vaishnavas, it is literally the most important festival day of the year. For the Vaishnavas, it's the number one day to get mercy. It's this Thursday. So we're going to have a big festival.
Are we going to Philadelphia to party?
No, right here, Shivadas. Right here. We don't need to go anywhere else. I came all the way back from India to be with you on this time. Because actually, even though we were in the place of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's birth, there's so much going on there. We left because, one, our visa was expiring. And then two, but we planned out the trip this way because I actually really wanted to celebrate Gaura Purnima with you guys. That was my intention. So anyway, it's the number one day to get mercy. So please celebrate Gaura Purnima in whatever way you can. It's this Thursday. Very, very auspicious. And actually Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the mercy incarnation of the Lord. The Adarya Leela avatar. Adarya Leela, he is like, it's pastimes of mercy. He's the most merciful. And he shows you, he comes, the Lord's like, okay, they don't know what they're doing here. I will come literally and show them exactly how to be a devotee. And I'll show them exactly the type of moods that they need to have. Michael was talking about, he was appreciating the mood of separation from the Lord. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Shikshastakam prayer, we chant every morning. It has a meaning. Believe it or not, it has a meaning. But the first step is this. Trinadapi Sunichena. What does that mean? Trinada is what? Yes, grass. Api is what? Even, yes. And then Sunichena is what? More humble. We must be more humble than a blade of grass. This is the instruction. If you feel bereft of mercy, and that was the second prayer that Mahaprabhu says in Shikshastakam, that he felt bereft of mercy. He's so unfortunate, he has no attraction for the chanting of the Lord's name. Even though he is fully in ecstasy chanting the Lord's name, is his name. but he's showing us what to do. Then he's telling us we have to be more humble than a blade of grass. And then Toror api sahishnuna. What's Toro? A tree, api. Even. Sahishnuna. More tolerant. More tolerant than a tree. Are we more tolerant than a tree? When people cut us off in traffic or say a mean thing to us or disrespect us, are we tolerant? You're just like, no, I'm not tolerant. Until I'm saying the same thing. No problem. That's the good, it's a humble step to say, yeah, I'm not doing it. Everyone should be like, no, I'm not doing these things. Or you'd be in bliss if you were doing these things. You would be in absolute bliss. Anyhow. So amanina, manadena. Amanina is what?
Disrespect.
What's that?
Disrespect.
No.
Why?
Yeah, prideless. Yes, prideless. Without any sense of pride. Not thinking, this is our problem actually. And this is what the Swami, he told me. He said, if you only hang out with those who have not been on the path as long as you are, what happens is you become very proud. You become very proud. Oh, look how much I know. They're asking me questions, all these things. And you become arrogant, which is the exact opposite of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's recommendation. So if we only hang out with those who are, let's say I only hung out with my family. My family knows very little about Bhagavad Gita, spiritual life, things like this. So I hang out with them long enough, I'll become very proud. Because, you don't know what you're doing. Look, you're getting in all this trouble in life. Oh my gosh, just do like this, this, and this. And I'll become very arrogant and proud. Or even, let's say I just stay here at the ashram. And so I'm the teacher now. I don't need to go out and be the student. I'm the teacher. Again, I'll be proud. Actually, this is one of the reasons I went to India. We went to India. It's because we need to be taught. And we immersed ourselves as students to the best we could for this month. And it was so rewarding. And it was his recommendation that he says, but if you hang out with equals, those are your peers, many of you like equals in many ways, then there's no harm done. Maybe if you're a little more advanced than them, then you'll actually, a little harm will be done. You'll get more of their qualities. But for them, it'll be good for you. It'll be good to us. So if you're a little more advanced, they'll get whatever advanced qualities, and they'll start to get those things. But he said you have to be associating with those more advanced than you. That's the only way you can be humble. Why? Because when you associate with those who are more advanced with you, you realize just how low you are. See, look at this person's qualities. Look at this person. I'm nothing in comparison to them. Or you might realize that I'm so much, this person has made so much more advancement than and it's a humbling thing when you would associate with those more advanced than yourself. So this is what he instructed me to do. He said would be a good idea. Is to, as much as you can, and actually we're going to plan around the ashram, we get this van, we're going to go out a lot over this next year. And we're going to go out. Why? Because we also need to hear, I need to hear from more advanced persons than myself. And then maybe I can actually help somebody. So anyhow, this is how you get mercy. You must offer your respects to these people, these Tattvadarshinas. You must ask them relevant questions, and then you render them service. And for instance, when Maharaj, he was quite busy, he had servants with him. It's not like, can I massage your feet? And it would have been inappropriate for me to immediately, massage his feet. But I bowed and I just, can I leave you something? And I gave whatever humble offering that I could. And sometimes that's enough service. We don't have to get fanatical, like, oh my God, please give me your feet. Like, I'm fine. I'm okay. So this is it. Again, tadvidhi pradipatena. Tad, that, in referring to the knowledge of sacrifices. Vidhi can be understood. Pranipatena, through offering your respects. Prabhupada says here, approaching a spiritual master humbly. Pariprashnena, asking relevant questions. And there's ideal you have like a topmost guru in front of you. But even if someone is more advanced, just ask them whatever you can. To just, if they have the quality that you're really appreciating, ask, what do you think can help me? I'm lacking in this department. And if you think they can actually give you an answer, boom. People love therapy. Why? Because the therapist is supposed to be a composed person of society, and that they can ask their questions and they can vent and all these things, and it's good and healthy for them. But this is like the ultimate spiritual therapy, where you can put your problems and they can help you. They see the truth and like, oh my gosh, you silly person. Look, it's easy. It's not that bad. You're making a big deal over this. Like Arjuna. What did he say? Krishna said to Arjuna, Ashochan anvashochastvam. You're lamenting for that which is not worthy of lamentation. That was like the first thing he said to him. And then Arjuna was like, oh, wait a second. I'm lamenting and it's not worth lamenting over? And then he systematically, throughout the whole Bhagavad Gita, he broke down spiritual knowledge for him so that he could actually realize, like, wait a second. It's all good, actually. It's all good. Mercy is, it's not a change of circumstances. It's a change of perspective. That's all it is. It's not a change, I can't wait till this circumstance ends. It's a change of perspective on the circumstances. Do we know this? Right? Where are my boys who are looking for a job? Piyush and Tanmay. What is it? How do you get mercy? Change your perspective. It's not about the circumstances. It's the perspective on the circumstances. Okay, what are the 3 things you have to do? Let's say you can't change your perspective and no one can do it alone. What do you do? What did this verse say? Piyush, first thing. What's that?
Be humble enough to accept what you're doing wrong and start from there.
Yes, so be humble to accept what you're doing wrong, and then what should you do? Who should you find? That would be ideal, but even, let's just say the spiritual master store they don't have enough spiritual masters for sale. Yes, someone more advanced than you find, and then what do you do?
Ask questions.
Before you ask questions. What did he say in this verse? Tadvidi pranipatena. Mukunda, tell him.
Pay respects.
Yeah, just pay respects. Pay respects. Prabhupada says here, it would be nice to, approach a spiritual master. But the spiritual master store doesn't always have them so readily available. It's actually a huge level of mercy that Krishna lets you meet a spiritual master. But Krishna gives you many gurus in your life. Your parents were your first guru. In most Indian culture, they're very respectful to their parents. And it's usually the parents reciprocate very nicely because of this. But not just saying that your parents are going to solve all your problems, because most of us realize at some point in our life, my mom's not going to have all the answers for me, and neither is my dad. But you need to find a tattva darshana, or at least someone who has more darshan of tattva than you do. And then pariprashnena, what is that? Piyush and Tanmay, you guys are the ones in the hot spot. You, Piyush, pariprashnena.
Ask questions to them.
Yes, you ask questions. So first respect, then questions, and then what's the last? Then they answer your questions. Seva. What's that? Service, and you render service. That's the way to get mercy. Is anyone going through something really tough? Really tough? Nobody? It's okay? Yeah, we're in this world of birth, death, disease, old age. That's pretty tough. Sohan. Hare Krishna. Tanmay. Hare Krishna. Yes, we're in a predicament here, so that's one thing. So there's one more verse I'll leave you with, and then you can work out how to get mercy in your life. Please remind me your name again.
Mohit.
Mohit. Come on in, Mohit. So happy to see you. So there's a verse in the Bhagavatam. Lord Brahma, he made a big boo-boo, and he tried to test Krishna, who was much more advanced than he was. So all of a sudden Krishna bewildered him. It's called the Brahma Vimohan Leela. I think it's chapter 13 of the 10th canto, something like this. So what he said, Brahma realized that he made a big mistake and that Krishna was way more, had more mystic ability and way more powerful and more realized than he was. So he said, okay. And he spoke this word. He spoke many verses. The whole chapter 14 is Brahma apologizing and speaking verses. But he said, Tatenu kampam susamikshamano bunjana evatma kritam vipakam hridvag vaparbir vidadan namaste jiveta yo mukti pade sadayabak. So that's actually what we're all looking for. Mukti pade. The feet which are giving mukti, liberation, freedom from our suffering. If you're looking for mercy, you're probably suffering in some way and you're looking for freedom from the suffering. So what it means is tat. Remember? Tat meant that. Te, unto him. Anukampam. If you want that person's mercy or compassion, and Brahma wanted Krishna's mercy, anukampam. So he approached him. And then susamikshamano means with great eagerness. With great eagerness, he approached him. Bunjana, while he is experiencing. This is what we have to do. Bunjana evatma kritam. Eva is certainly, atma is the soul, and kritam, the soul or the self, kritam are the actions and reactions. So it means while we experience the reactions to our actions in life. This is called karma. So if you want the Lord's mercy, you must eagerly seek His compassion, all the while you just experience whatever's happening. And you just accept it. Accept it and go through it. And then evatma kritam vipakam, that which is done from pious or impious activities. And then, so this is what you actually have to do. Hrid, it means heart. But what is in the heart is actually the mind. You're thinking, we think from the heart, believe it or not. So with one's mind or with one's heart, vag, with one's speech, vaparbir, with one's body, vidadan, I'm offering, namaste, unto you. Jiveta, one can live. Yo, I forget yo. What's that? Anyone who. Yo is anyone who. Mukti pade. Anyone who. What's that?
The position of liberation.
Yes, anyone could get your lotus feet, which give liberation, and that's the freedom from your suffering. So with your heart, with your words, and with your body, thank you. Heart, words, and body is surely eligible for liberation, for it has become his rightful claim. So this is how we get mercy. We find a tattva darshana, like in this verse, but also, even until we find a tattva darshana, because it might not, like the tattva darshana store might not be open all the time for you. You just experience what you're experiencing and offer all of your heart, your mind, and your words unto the Lord. And He will send you a tattva darshana. Or He'll make you realize that there's a tattva darshana maybe down the street you didn't know. Or maybe in another state. Or maybe He's coming to New York a couple times a year. Or something like that. So this is what we need to do to get mercy. Now I'll test how relevant this is. Are there any questions? Michael.
So, unless it was saying how if someone doesn't render service to the spiritual master, then basically their inquiries can be kind of fruitless. What's the distinction between that and like a Tato Brahma Jigyasa?
Thatu Brahma Jigyasa is I now inquire into the absolute truth. It's not, that's pariprashnena. So inquiring means to ask questions. So,
But I'm
go
asking
ahead.
because it says, unless there is submission and service, inquiries from the learned spiritual master will not be effective.
yeah, well, you can't just ask questions and then he's, okay, let me answer your questions, but then you have no service mentality. Because then he will be like, I don't know about this one, you know, like this you'll recognize this even like, let's say you meet somebody off the street and then they're just asking you questions condescendingly, or they're asking you questions like, you know something, right? When we approach somebody at the book table, we have a certain knowledge, like, hey, you're definitely suffering in this world because you're a human being who's going through this material world, and it doesn't look like you have spiritual knowledge readily available at your fingertips, so you're suffering. But you try and help this person, but they're not interested. So they're saying, what do you know? Or they're asking all kinds of questions condescendingly. So unless someone is respectful first to you, and then they ask the questions, and then ready to render service, like in book distribution, for instance, they're ready to, like, at least, well, here's a little donation, here's something to help you, you know. Not just like, oh, give me that knowledge and it's mine now, and you think that you can just get mercy that way. No. Like, even if I ask something, you know, or let's say I ask a question to a sadhu, and I don't, then at the end, I'm not ready to render any service unto this person, he will look down upon me very unfavorably. Part of the reason I had you guys yesterday, the priest who did our sacrifice, he should leave so happy. So we were trying to fill his plate as much as possible with prasadam, like, and he's, take this, and he's like, oh my God, but he was so charmed and he was so happy, because that's what you're supposed to do. You know, and he is like one of my, you know, he was a mentor to me. He was a type of guru to me for many years when I lived at the temple. And I always will remember that. I always remember that. So I was like, you guys give him as much prasadam as possible. If we're not ready to render service unto this person, and they don't look upon us favorably, or they realize, oh, this person's not that sincere, they will withhold the mercy. You know, like Krishna in Bhagavad Gita, Arjuna was just acting with Krishna as a friend. So Krishna says, come on, Arjuna, just fight. Why are you being so weak? Blah, blah, blah. And then Arjuna, like, really, really, you know, went at a very low position. I'm a soul surrendered unto you. Please help me. And he starts asking. So then Krishna smiles and he's like, all right, I'll take a different role here. But unless you do that, you take that humble position, they'll say, oh, well, he thinks I'm a friend. He'll be, if I take the position of a teacher to him, then, you know, he doesn't want that from me. Yeah, so naturally they'll hold back their mercy. They won't feel like, oh, it won't go well. But unless you get humble before somebody, how can you give mercy? And then naturally part of that humility is you'll be grateful and you're like, how can I be of service in some way? Like that. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and then that service will build sukriti as well. Like if someone, like you gave the book distribution example, if you're distributing a book and they don't have any money to give, if you were to give them the book for free, they're not going to get the blessings from, say,
Well, yeah, I mean, they might still get the blessings because you might still have, you know, you really want to help this person, but they'll get more blessings if they do some service in some way. But, you know, they might not be ready to do service at that point. So they'll get something. But not, they might not appreciate the book. But maybe, like, I gave $1 or $2. Maybe I look at it, I paid for this thing or something, you know. But like that. Sukriti is like pious spiritual credit. Like, I did a spiritual activity, so I have a spiritual credit in my bank account. Yeah, like that. Anything else? Peter.
How do we respectfully ask our spiritual master questions?
Pranipatena. Pranipatena. You should measure the time, place, and circumstance. If he's very, very busy, and you're like, oh, Prabhu, and you bow at his feet, like, I have so many questions to ask you. Be like, I'm sorry, you have to find an appropriate time, place, and circumstance. And, yeah, and like that, they should be a spiritual master. It's recommended that they become it's somebody who is available to you. You know, if there's many qualified people, but if they're not available to you, it's very difficult to keep. Like for instance, there's Radhanath Swami. Rishi is aspiring for Radhanath Swami. Radhanath Swami is a really nice system where he's so busy. Has thousands of disciples. So he has his topmost disciples give mentorship to the lower disciples who haven't made as much advancement. So if he can't be personally available to that person, at least somebody could be personally available to him. So you find maybe he's not available, but maybe someone dear to him is available, and you can ask him questions. And then maybe he can help you get before him because he's very close with him. Like that. And then eventually, and then you're ready to render service always as well. Not just like, all right, well, thanks for the questions, and thanks for your time and your energy. And he's like, oh, well, you want to help serve the devotees here? And you're like, oh, no, I don't do service, Then he'll be, oh, okay. And even if a great soul even is just disappointed by you, this is a big problem for us. That's why the Brahmin's curse is like one of the biggest fears in Vedic culture. Oh my God, I displeased a Brahmin. Brahmin is supposed to be one who is fully immersed in the absolute truth. That's what Brahma means. Right? So he's a Tattvadarshana. And so now I've displeased a Brahmin, he will curse me. We must always try to render service. Why? Because this is pleasing to that person. And pranipatena is the same thing, offering respects. This is pleasing to them. We want to be pleasing. And even offering pariprashnena, relevant, good questions, they get so enlivened by this, actually. They get so enlivened. Like Shukadeva Goswami in the Bhagavatam, he would like melt in ecstasy when Maharaj Parikshit would ask the next question. Because it was like, his like spiritual emotions, there's multiple times in the Bhagavatam where his spiritual emotions or bhavs start erupting, and he has to like mince his words because like he's like not everyone there was ready to actually hear some of the inner meanings of what he was talking about. So anyhow, these things enliven a Tattvadarshana because they want to give mercy, but the person has to be eligible. So respect, questions, and service, and then upadekshanti, it'll be revealed unto you. You'll get the revelations you're looking for. But it has to be through this. This is the way. Any last question before we do arti? Adya.
I was wondering, so I had actually two questions, but my main question was, how do we know who's real Tattvadarshana?
So there's a verse in the Bhagavatam. I think it's 11th canto, chapter 3, verse 21. And it goes, Tasmad Gurum Prapadyeta. Tasmad Gurum Prapadyeta. Jigyasu Shreya Uttamam. Shabde Pare Chanishnatam Brahman Upashamashraya. And what it means is, therefore, one should take shelter of a guru. If Jigyasu, if one is inquisitive, Shreya is good, and then Uttamam, into the highest good. Is everyone here looking for the highest good? Who wants the highest good? Yes, everyone should raise their hand. If you don't want the highest good, you might be crazy. So, if you want the ultimate good, you must jigyasu, you must inquire into this before a guru. And what is a guru? Shabde pare chanishnatam. So Shabde is the transcendental, like sound, right? Shabde, like the Vedas, for instance, the Shastras, like Bhagavad Gita. Pare is topmost. So they're familiar, chanishnatam, they're fully conversant in the transcendental sound. Brahman upashamashraya. Brahman is, right, the absolute truth. Upasham, and they're detached from material things. And ashraya, they take shelter in detachment and the absolute truth. So you'll find if a guru is attached to all kinds of material things and wants to talk about, let's say, politics and things that don't have to do with the wholly and solely the absolute truth, that's not a full Tattvadarshana. But maybe that person can help you to a certain point. But yeah, you won't get the you'll just have to find even higher teachers who can give you that. But you can appreciate maybe somebody is more advanced than you and they can give you a lot. And then eventually, you say thank you so much and you remain friendly to them. But then you also look around, see where you can get more knowledge. No problem. Actually, any genuine guru will be happy that, if he can't answer all your questions, he'll be so happy. Oh, that one can answer your questions over there. Maybe I should also hear what he has to say. Any genuine spiritual person would be so happy. So it's not like you have to have some crazy loyalty thing where I can only hear from this spiritual person like this. No, there are time, place, and circumstance things. Like there were instances where there were certain god brothers of Srila Prabhupada who were trying to steal his disciples and confuse them, and they were doing all kinds of things. So Prabhupada he made it very clear, no, don't hear from them, they're just going to confuse you. He used strong words. But unless that's happening, and it shouldn't happen like that. Today's society of spiritual teachers, they're not so possessive. And not that Srila Prabhupada was possessive, but it was a very delicate situation because everyone was so new and had no really knowledge of spiritual life at all. So, even a lot of you guys, you might want to hear from somebody who I know is good, but I know, they're going to be quite confused if they hear it from that person and they've seen this presentation of it. It might not be good for them. And I wouldn't recommend, even though I really appreciate that person, I like hearing from that person, I wouldn't necessarily be like, well, yes, this is the person you should hear from, so like that. So Srila Prabhupada has done like that. But when it's evidently clear to you that, okay, this teacher, when it was evidently clear you graduated kindergarten, you go on to first grade, right? So when it's evidently clear to you that this teacher or this role model in your life has given you a certain amount, then okay. Also seek out other role model who can give you that next thing that you're looking for. And then you can get closer to Tattva Darshana and actually having a spiritual master.
And kind of next question was you mentioned the ideal way is to serve the guru for at least a year.
That's ideal.
That's ideal. So
There's Shastric background to that as well.
What is the next best alternative if for some reason you're not?
Well, I mean, the next best alternative, it depends on the situation. I mean, you should just do it if you can. But let's just say, for instance, my Diksha Guru had requested I take after 6 months. So I did. And I don't find fault in what I did. The Shastra says this. Because he was a lot more advanced. He's a lot more advanced than I am. So I trust him. He's going to help me. And he did. He still helps me to this day. Even in India, we didn't even get to see him. We were supposed to meet him in Mayapur, but he had other things happen. But actually, we somehow or other, we ended up in his room, and all the mercy we were receiving from his god brothers, like Vaisheshika Prabhu and Kalakanta Prabhu, and many others, was due to his mercy and blessing that he had given us. So like this, but the best thing is if you could study, try and you really want to understand this, because surrendering unto someone is not a small thing. Oh, I'm going to surrender unto you. It's not a small thing. It's like an everything you've got type of thing. So you really want to make sure this person, I can do this. Or, there is a level of, I can learn a lot from you, but maybe I can't fully surrender. And you can have a more a junior senior type of relationship. For instance, I've been practicing a little longer than most in this room. Right? So naturally there's a senior element that I naturally have just been practicing longer. But if you guys started trying to surrender unto me, I would get very uncomfortable because I wouldn't be able to do the thing that you're looking for. And I would just create havoc in your life. But I can help you actually recognize who that person could be, and I could help you go on to that next thing. But, does that make sense? Yes. Okay. Everyone is pacified? Okay. You guys were very good today, and the Pariprashnena was very coming. But now actually I have no time for that, because we have to do the kirtan, the final kirtan and the arti. So I think who's leading?
I think it's you.
No, I already did. I did one. Parth is leading. That's what Mukunda is saying. Mukunda is saying Parth leads some ecstatic